guys, this will be very interesting. The ticker symbol SPXY and yield is 55 to 80%. Frequency weekly dividends, because a lot of people like these weekly distributions. So guys, in today's video, I'm going to give you a quick update and review on two SpaceX ETFs. The one is trading right now and one is coming up very soon. We know a few weeks ago, SpaceX went IPO, and a lot of these ETF issuers, especially income ETFs providers, are trying to come up with ETF to replicate SpaceX. And so far, the two that have came up with these ETFs, the first one we're going to start with is Curve. Curve ETFs has just came up with this fund. The ticker symbol is XSHP or XSHIP, Curve SpaceX Enhanced Income ETF. The price today is 1936. If I expand it to when this ETF was incepted, we can see the price is start around $24 or $23.85. It has lost about 26%. And this shouldn't come as a surprise because the SpaceX stock itself came out around 135. It went all the way to 200 plus, and now is back to 150. So it depends on when this ETF was created. They had to create this ETF based off the price that SpaceX was trading, and that's why it has lost a little bit. And I believe they haven't paid any income. So if you bought this ETF when it was incepted, you are down now. But range, this is the time it was incepted to today. It was between $18.74 to $26.40. So it did climb all the way to 26. And when SpaceX stock came down, this ETF followed, and it went down all the way to 18 and is creeping back again to 19, and hopefully it should be going back to where it was. And if we look at the volume, average volume for Curve ETF XSHIP is only 38,671. So it's very low volume, but this also shouldn't be a surprise because this ETF is brand new and Curve is not one of the most popular ETF providers. So it could be that's one of the reasons why the volume is not that high. But of course, the more these ETFs are getting popularity, then we should see the volume increase. And importance of volume for people who don't know is that volume allows you to buy and sell very quickly. And also, if you have a higher volume, that means your ask bid spread is very low. Distribution rate, as of now, we don't see any. And this is because this ETF hasn't paid any distribution so far. When they pay the first distributions, that will determine how much yield that is going to be. And the more they pay, we're going to get the average distributions for this ETF. But the main reason why you should consider investing in SpaceX ETF, potential benefit of Curve SpaceX Enhanced Income ETF, they have three main reasons they listed here. The first one is a single name exposure. Target individual growth stock to capture upside potential while actively managing risk with options. Growth with income. Generate potential monthly cash flow from growth equity that distributes little or no dividends. This means that you are buying SpaceX, you have exposure to SpaceX as a stock. But if you buy SpaceX stock itself, you're not going to get any distributions. But by buying this, you are getting distributions, even though the SpaceX stock itself does not pay any distributions or dividends. And the third reason you should consider buying this is tax efficiency. Capture tax efficient income using option-based strategies and actively managing risk with options. XSHP was incepted June 16, 2026, and management expense ratio is 0.99. So it's less than 1%, which is very typical for these income ETFs. Distributions frequency, this is going to pay monthly. This is different than YieldMax ETFs that I'm going to show you in a bit. Investment objective and strategy. Curve SpaceX Enhanced Income ETF seeks to provide current income. This is objective for all these income ETFs as usual. Top holdings is these are leveraged ETFs. Most of their holdings are going to be treasuries. As you can see here, United States Treasury bill is about 70% of this fund is treasury. So they're going to use that as collateral while they are writing call using synthetic. And as you can see here, SpaceX itself, there's a call, and there's a put, which expires on these dates is listed here. And you can see everything here is on negative, meaning they just going to use leverage to write these calls. At the beginning of the video, I showed you a ticker symbol from YieldMax that's going to pay a little higher distributions. And as you all know, that YieldMax has a bunch of income ETFs. They have single stock ETFs. Most of them are here, as you can see. And these ETFs actually pay weekly distributions. So it's going to be a little bit different than Curve. Curve pays monthly. This is going to pay weekly from YieldMax. So that will be added to the other ETFs. And some of these ETFs have done well, and some of them really didn't do any good. One of the ETF that has similarity to a brand new ETF that is coming to YieldMax, it's going to be like a Tesla. Remember when Tesla came out, it was very popular and it was paying very high yield. But this ETF underwent a couple reverse split, and a lot of people were disappointed. And right now, Tesla really does pay huge distributions, but the ETF itself hasn't performed well. So there's a lot of disappointment. Check this, guys. YieldMax has filed registration statement with the SEC to launch YieldMax SpaceX Option Income Strategy ETF. While no ticker has been officially finalized yet, the actively managed fund is designed to provide investors with highly monthly or weekly distributions. We know it's going to be weekly because of all the single stock ETFs from YieldMax are paying weekly right now. The key details of this coming ETF, the primary objective of this ETF will be seek current income while providing indirect exposure to SpaceX implied share price volatility. And the reason why it's indirect is because it's going to have that synthetic cover call strategy. How it works, the ETF aims to harvest the option premiums by employing synthetic cover call or call spread strategies. Risks, like other single stock YieldMax fund, it has capped upside if SpaceX share price spikes, but investors remain fully exposed to any downside. These distribution strategies also carry the risk of net asset value (NAV) erosion. Since the ETF is actively monitored for launch, you can track finalized ticker, prospectus, and live performance on the YieldMax ETF website. So this is the news, and I'm going to show you the evidence we have for this particular update. On this channel, guys, I always give you insights about these ETFs, and also I give you income guidance. So if you don't want to miss any of the important update, make sure you subscribe to this channel. And if you like any of my content, please smash the like button and make sure you share with someone you think this video might help. So all the information that I shared with you that YieldMax is launching a brand new SpaceX Income ETF wasn't just a hype or speculation. This is real because we have evidence here from the official SEC website. This is a government website. As you can see, they did apply since April 28, 2026, as you can see here. Of course, when they apply, usually it takes a few weeks to months before the actual ETF start trading, but almost guarantee that this will be approved because YieldMax has a lot of ETFs that have been approved later on at SpaceX. And if you look deeper, we can see more information about that. So this is all real. As you can see, these are more information. Of course, this is little tiny writing you can really read. But if you want to go to SEC and you type SpaceX YieldMax ETF, you're going to get this information and you can read for yourself. When I heard that YieldMax is launching a SpaceX Income ETF, I wanted to know how much yield or potential yield this ETF is going to have. So I plug my numbers in this tool here. If SpaceX trade publicly with volatility similar to what a private market pricing and IPO enthusiasm suggests, I would expect annual yield, if you go conservatively, is going to be between 25 to 35. If you go to most likely range, is between 35 to 55. And if SpaceX trade like early Tesla, MicroStrategy, or Coinbase after IPO, we are expecting 55 to 80 plus yield. And this is real. Do you remember when Tesla was incepted? It had very, very high yield. Tesla itself has often ranged between 40 to 80, but at one point, at its prime, it was all the way to like 180% yield. But this all depends on volatility of SpaceX. If you look at MicroStrategy, has exceeded 100 at the time, remember? And if we look at Coinbase, also it did produce highly yield during period of elevated crypto volatility. Connie, MSTY, and Tesla, these three ETFs paid very high yield, exceeding like 100%. So because of the example we have on this, and given how SpaceX is trading, it has a lot of volatility. So we're expecting the SpaceX to pay a lot higher. My estimate, 40 to 60% annualized is realistic. Long-term expectation if volatility remains elevated. And I went to ask and speculate what type of ticker this ETF is going to have based off the ticker symbol preceding from YieldMax. We know Tesla, Nvidia, Coin, AMD, Netflix. Check this. Tesla is TSLY, Tesla, Nvidia, MVDY, Coin, it had Connie, and AMD, MDY, Netflix, it had NFLY. See, based off these ticker symbol from previous YieldMax ETFs, we are expecting SpaceX ticker symbol to be SPXY, SPCY, SPAY, SXLY, or SPXX. But the best that takes number one choice is SPXY. Again, guys, earlier when I showed you SPXY, this ticker symbol here, when we look at the filing with SEC, that filing does not mention any ticker symbol because the ticker symbol is not official yet until it's been approved by the SEC. So YieldMax so far hasn't disclosed the ticker symbol. So this ticker symbol I showed you here is just speculation based off the ticker symbol that YieldMax has as of now. And when it comes to yield, of course, we're not going to know the yield until the first distributions. So this yield I mentioned here is just a projection. There's no guarantee that they're going to pay this much. The only thing I would say is almost certain is weekly distributions because most YieldMax ETFs have moved from monthly to weekly. Guys, I really appreciate you watching this video. So if you have any comment or any question, make sure you leave in the comment below and let me know what you think. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye bye.